Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody is well. We are back to do a preview of tomorrow night's game. Big, 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 important must-win game. If we don't win this, the Champions League is over. Forget about it. Arguably, last game against Galatasaray was a must-win in and of itself because a home fixture. Usually, you want to take your chances when you're at home, but that didn't go very well, did it? So, big, big, big game against Copenhagen tomorrow night. Thankfully, it's at Old Trafford, so we've got a bit of a case of home game. Let's just damage. Let's just cause damage. Let's cause carnage, and I want that to be the case. I'm hoping that we can turn up. I'm hoping that we can continue a little bit of momentum from what we had after the Sheffield United fixture. Get a win, bounce on to the 2 wins because we need to make sure that we have a positive result, but also a positive performance because we do have the Manchester derby following very, very soon after, and I want us to be ready for that. As ready as we can possibly be, basically. Whether we can overcome Copenhagen is its own question mark in and of itself. And you know what? Copenhagen, they've got some talent. They've got some talent in their squad. And it's Champions League, so anybody can really beat anybody in this competition. And, much like how they describe the Premier League, you know, you've got to do your best. You've got to do, as what the competition demands as your minimum. And we've got to beat Copenhagen, and I want us to beat them convincingly. I want us to go out. Our previous prediction against Sheffield United was a 3-0. I want this to be a 3-4-0. I want 4-0. I want this to be a 4-0 kind of game. Copenhagen, you know, Bayern Munich made a tough fixture out of Copenhagen themselves. Hopefully, it's much easier for us. Because I tell you what, whilst we make games more difficult ourselves, like we don't help ourselves here, at the same time, I kind of I'm hoping that it's one of those where the opponent really doesn't have that sort of like essence to turn up as such. Um, so yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting encounter because quite a lot riding on it. And I suppose, thank goodness, it's Copenhagen and not Bayern Munich. Because this fixture is one of those that I believed, we should win. And I've thought that, Galatasaray at home, we should have won that game. That's my perception on our group before, as the draw was happening. I was looking at things and thought, well, Bayern Munich, tough fixture. Galatasaray and Copenhagen, we should be beating those two teams. We should be. That's, like, to me, it was an all right group. If we don't qualify from this Champions League group, we've only got ourselves to blame. And we need to get points on the board and quick. And Copenhagen tomorrow night has got to be the starting point, because if it's not the starting point, then what hope do we have? What hope do we have? I don't see us clawing anything back. Maybe at a stretch we can reach for Europa League, but going through to the knockouts in Champions League won't happen if we don't win tonight. Whether people want to believe that on the basis of points accumulation, if we get beaten by Copenhagen, they're already ahead of us in the group. We're rooted bottom. They only go further ahead of us. So we've got to then beat essentially 3 teams whilst the other 3 teams are playing each other across 3 fixtures, where they can end up potentially getting 3 points and staying ahead and maintaining gaps between us and them. So realistically, we need to have the points accumulation start tomorrow night to have any chance, because we need to just get points on the board at this point. So thankfully, we can play Galatasaray again. So we've got another chance against them, but also Copenhagen. So we've still got 9 points realistically to play for. We've got Bayern Munich at home. as I think what might be the last fixture of the Champions League group stage. A very tough opposition, but maybe things are slightly different when we get to that point. Maybe we are playing better. Who knows? Um, Maybe the team is much stronger, more together at that point. So maybe we have enough in us to actually beat Bayern Munich. So there's still 12 points that we can get on the board, and I think 12 points would be enough for us to qualify into groups, into knockout stages. But for me, yeah, it's going to be a really tough struggle now because of the fact the way in which we've started our group. Just even drawing one of these games would have changed the perception slightly, just slightly. Um, but yeah, we've already thus far made our group harder than it needs to be, and we need to make sure that we are not making more banana skin games for ourselves. And if we can do that, if we can show ourselves, if we can just show up, would be a a big step up for Manchester United Football Club, and will give us hope going into potentially qualifying for the knockout stages. There is a moth right there. I'll give you a bit of a slap. But yeah, as far as the team is concerned, um, I think we all kind of know what the goalkeeper situation is going to be. It's probably going to be Andre Onana. So Onana's probably going to be starting in goal. As for left back, it's going to be an interesting one because supposedly Reguilon's been training for a while, and I would have imagined that Sergio Reguilon should be fit enough to start now. He should be fit enough. He's been training since before the international break, so he should be fit enough to start. So for me, it's got to be Sergio Reguilon at left back. Um, as for the centre back partnership, we know Varane's back, fit and available, so he's guaranteed to start. Who partners him though? Probably Victor Lindelof. Probably Victor Lindelof. I don't know about Johnny Evans. Obviously, he picked up a bit of a knock in the Sheffield United game, but he could be fit enough to play tomorrow night as well. So, I mean, that's probably Bloody Moth is trying to attack me now, trying to get revenge. But yeah, he's for me. Yeah, I mean, Johnny Evans has probably been one of our better centre backs as well. So I wouldn't be against him starting. And Harry Maguire, whether people believe he should start, because I mean Sheffield United, we can't completely ignore his performance in that game, but at the same time, it's like, but we desperately need to win this game. So do we spend time taking risks that we could potentially not be taking by saying, well, let's give Harry Maguire a chance to see if it works out. But if it doesn't work out, we've lost out. But if you take a more certifiable route, such as the Lindelof Varane partnerships, then maybe you're taking less of a risk, and I prefer to be doing that. As for right back, probably Diogo Dalot, as he's the only real fit fullback for the right hand side. I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka is back in training, which is fantastic. That means he will soon be available for selection. No Casemiro, so Sofian Amrabat's bound to start. As for who the other two midfielders are, Scott McTominay started against Sheffield United, and fair play to him, he also got another goal contribution against Sheffield. So does that warrant him starting another game? For me, probably not, to be quite frankly honest, as to who starts in that deeper role. I'm sort of torn a little bit. I'm sort of between Eriksen, but surprisingly enough, Donny van der Beek. I mean, I say we take no risks, but we want someone that's got a bit of pace and energy in there. And Eriksen and McTominay don't quite have the sort of mobility to it. But maybe we say just for argument's sake, we put Scott McTominay in there just for the sake of tapping into potential goal threats from deep, then maybe that's the option to go with. Um, Bruno Fernandes had an absolutely woeful game against Sheffield United. For me, to be honest, I'd want to bench him. I do want to bench him just because maybe he needs time to get a bit of rest, because the guy looks like he's just so like he's got nothing left to offer. Um, like he's running on empty. Like the tank is just empty. You're just working on fumes now. Um, for me, Hannibal Mabry, like give him another chance, give him another run out in the team, because Hannibal's got a lot of pace, a lot of energy, and a lot of desire to actually, represent. So for me, I like where Hannibal is going thus far, and I want to give him more opportunities. And Copenhagen might be an ideal team for him to do that against, or it's either that or Mason Mount, whichever people would prefer. Because this is the player that sort of plays just behind the striker. Um, but yeah, I mean, probably an equal case for Mason Mount to start. But for me, Bruno Fernandes showed it against Sheffield United. The guy's just he looks absolutely just like he's got nothing left to offer. And I think just a bit of time to get a bit of rest and break up, playing him consistently. Obviously, we're not talking about manager selection. We're talking about what a team I would go with. As what happens on the left, Garnacho was my personal man of the match against Sheffield United because he was instrumental in the second half. Gave us a new lease of life. Um, but yeah, for me, Garnacho on the left, Hoyland up top, and again, um, Palestri on the right. These are just my selections. That I believe in those players in performing better across 90 minutes than some of their first team options, and maybe it's because the first team options have been playing so much that like I've said, they're running on fumes. Now, maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe that's what we need to have is some game time for these second string players so that they're giving better performances in 90 minutes than some of the first teamers, so that when the first teamers come back into the first team picture, they've got more energy about them and can give more in 90 minutes. So when we've got big games, we've got big players that are able to live up to the energy requirements to stay in the game, stay competing, and keep fighting for 90 minutes. That's just the way I think about things. It's just the way I feel. I don't know what you guys think. What sort of teams that you'd look to go with, and like pop your starting 11s down in the comment section below. Like, what teams would you opt to go with against Copenhagen? Because keeping in mind that it is a must-win, do you take risks with this, or do you just stick with what is familiar? For me, I would sort of be at a bit of a blend. Do I take risks? Do I stay with what's more familiar? For me, certain risks in certain areas, or what the manager might consider risks. For me, all we've got to do is make sure that we've got a team of 11 players that want it, that want those 3 points super bad, and go out and do it, right? Get us on the board in Champions League. But anyways, let me know you guys' thoughts and feelings about the game tomorrow. And also on top of those teams, or your predicted 11s, or what desired 11s you'd like to start against Copenhagen, but also leave some of your score predictions. I want to go like crazy with it. I want to say 4-0. I do. I just want to, right? Just that itching feeling of needing to say um, that's what we will do to Copenhagen. We'll have to see. We will have to see, though, when all things happen. But anyways, let me know your guys' thoughts and feelings in the comment section below. Do be sure to smash a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We've got this going live on the Tuesday or Monday night rather, and the match reaction will come soon as the game is finished. A live stream match reaction. Fingers crossed we've got a win under the belt and we've got points on the board. Oh Lord, good Lordy, please let us get the points on the board. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. All the best. Take care, goodbye, and God bless. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.